All right. So on today's State of Mind, I did Sose the Ghost. Well, you'll see, incredible. He interviewed. He has a podcast named Demon Row, but it's not like that. It's just he's the greatest guy, and he also interviewed Jason Momoa. All the girls are like, what? Anyway, check him out. All right, this is State of Mind. If you like what you see, hit this button right here. I know you like my hat, and I know you like my T-shirt. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to look tough, okay? I don't know if it's working. But who I have today, I'm like a little kid in a candy store. Because I know his life is remarkable. And I just want to hear about it. I'm going to sit here and listen. He created a podcast called Demon's Row. And I'll tell you right now, I looked through yesterday. The stuff that he does is just, I mean, mine's cool. Don't get me wrong, please. Don't shut it. But his editing, his music, the way he does things, and when he's talking, damn. Anyway, also interviewed Jason Momoa, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But my wife thinks Jason is very good looking. She usually doesn't say anybody's good looking, and she said he was good looking, so I'm a little threatened by that situation. His name is Sose the Ghost. What's up, brother?
Appreciate you. It's an honor to sit down with you.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm not joking when I say your stuff is just, to me, outrageously great.
Thank you.
Who edits? Who does all that?
Me, and me.
No, don't tell me that.
The graphics, the thumbnails, everything. The ideas, everything.
What the?
Yeah.
Really?
Years of just being horrible at it, then you get better and better. Yeah, definitely.
You do it?
Yeah.
So did you, I want to get into your life, but when you were young, did you have this intellect to know that you can do this?
No, it was more like I never was the person that could get help. So I would have to learn stuff on my own, and that became my biggest asset, is like learning how to do things on my own. Wow. I used to shoot hip hop videos for people and for myself, but I don't know if you're familiar with French Montana, but he's like a very known artist. Well, I shot a lot of his underlings. He had a group called the Coke Boys, so I would shoot a lot of their videos. So it's just a lot of practice and, a lot of bootleg videos, and you start getting better and better over the years,
Wow. Yeah. Now, I do all my promotion. I do this, but I have my Anthony Camarada, my engineer. He's sitting over there.
Yeah.
He does the editing and all kind of, my wife produces. So, but to do what you do, not just to do what you do, to do it as well as you do. I thought you had a whole team.
No. Too cheap.
That's right. All right, listen, why don't we get into, man, how you grew up. You grew up in the Bronx, right? Raised in the Bronx?
Yeah, I was born in Puerto Rico, and then I moved to the Bronx. My mother and father ran away to have me and my sister because my grandfather was not having it. He didn't want her to get married. He's very strict, Puerto Rican family. So they ran to Puerto Rico, gave birth to me and my sister, and then ran right back into the Bronx just in time for the crack era. So we... Perfect timing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So you lived in the Bronx during the crack era?
Yes.
And how was that?
It was insane. It was kind of crazy because...
How old were you?
When we were in the Bronx, 1 year old. She literally ran away to have us and then just came back after me and my sister were born. So I was 1 year old when we came back to the Bronx. And the thing is, my father got caught up with the drugs. He got into crack. He was he was a good dude, man, but he just got caught up. He worked at this carpet company, and he would lay down carpets, and a friend of his, turned him on to the drugs, and then that was it. He was just like, by the age of 4, he was already out the house, locked up, doing life, and it was rough after that. I had a stepfather that was abusive, physically
abusive, like he hit you. And...
I mean, the first day I ever met him, he checked me. Like,
no.
My mother was, I was about, I want to say I was like 5 years old, and my mother was like, it's time for you and your sister to go to bed. And I was like, but Mom, can we stay up a little while? And then he was like, you don't butt your mother. Like, I'd never met him in my life. The first thing he said was like, you don't butt your mother. If she tells you to go to bed, you go to bed. And it wasn't like, I wasn't a bad kid at that time. Like, I was a really good kid. I eventually developed into a bad kid, right. But never malicious though. Just like mischievous,
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was rough. He used to, back in the days, we all got hit. Like where I was from.
I guess. Yeah.
So, but it's different when it's not your father and he's the one beating you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So when it's that, that's funny you would say that. I mean, my dad hit me with a belt, but it's a long story. I won't get into it. But if it's not your father, how does that feel?
Yeah, it was like, I remember I used to see his eyes, and I used to see like the devil in his eyes because his eyes were like so red. And it was because I found out later on in life that he was like using cocaine. So my mother just, I don't know what it was about that era in the 80s. It seemed like all the parents were on drugs. Like it was crazy. Like I remember when we lived on 183rd in the Bronx, it was 89. The drug dealers would torch buildings. Like they would get raided by the feds, and so that they don't catch all the work, they would just burn the buildings down before they like find it.
No.
So it was like, yeah, they used to call it the burnt down Bronx. You remember that?
Yeah, no, but
yeah, there was so many buildings that would just burn down in the 80s because they would.
Because that's where the evidence was.
Yes. Yep. It was crazy.
Now, what is crack? Is that crack? That's worse than cocaine?
Yeah. Crack is cocaine, but cooked up, so it was worse.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So he got hooked on that, and he was just out of my life after that. He was locked up all my life. He was gone from 4 years old, and I didn't see him again until I was 28. So
no.
He went to Elmira up north, and he was there for forever. Yeah, it was a long time. And he, like, now, I'm not one of those people that hold grudges. I don't have that in me. So when I see him again, it's hard to communicate with him because he only speaks Spanish, and my Spanish is not the greatest because we grew up very Americanized, even though we're a Puerto Rican family, so we don't communicate very well. He doesn't understand a lot of things that I say, and I don't understand a lot that he says.
But from 4 to 28, you didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
How come you saw him at 28? What happened in that meeting?
My sister was like looking for him. She was looking for that, what's up with our dad, And I was just like over it. Like I wasn't mad at him or anything. I was just like, it's just part of life. Like I wasn't used to him being around. So I just had to always figure things out on my own,
So when you first saw him, was it great? Was it?
He was a little burnt out. Like, I think all the drugs after all the years, he wasn't, but he's a very nice man. He's not like an evil person or nasty or whatever. He's a very nice man.
And you guys are together now talking
Yeah. I don't see him a lot because I work a lot, but I don't have any resentment towards him, anything like that. I think he just honestly, I think drug issues are mental health issues. So I think that he had mental health issues and drugs, was his.
Maybe he was bipolar.
Yeah, maybe.
Because at that time, bipolar, that's when I went into a mental institution at I was 84, I think. But nobody knew anything about mental health. Wasn't the way it
wasn't
is
a thing. Yeah, that's one thing that I think has helped me a lot with Demons Road too, and being able to deal with different personalities is I did mental health work for like 3 years at a hospital.
Oh, you did?
I worked at a psych unit, and as a mental health worker, and I just dealt with so many people, and I really love just, you know, and I realized that like when they're on their meds, they don't take drugs. But then when they get out there and they're not on their meds, they start taking drugs.
Yeah.
And that's what made me realize like the drug issue is a mental health issue.
I can agree with that. And I got to tell you, though, since you worked in one of those places, I was in one of those places. And I have a bad experience with it because I was 22. No, 21. I had my birthday in a mental institution. And it's just scary, man. Man, I'm getting emotional a bit.
Did you have to do like 6 months, or was it like short term, like where I was working?
It was only 2.5 weeks. I was first put in a hospital that wasn't a very good hospital, and I was in there tied down to a bed with 3 other people in this room. The guy in front of me was eating his toenails.
Wow.
And drinking his pee. The guy next to me looked like he'd been hit by a truck. And the story that I tell is, I haven't really told this story too much. But I want you to interview me. This is great.
Yeah.
He was next to me, and I kept saying stuff like, "Wake up! Wake up!" And he was like that. And then at one time, I'm doing it again, and he went, "Ah!" And I went, "Oh, man."
Yeah.
So I was in that thing for about 2 or 3 days. Then they put me into a mental institution where you can walk around and stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is, just because I didn't want to take my medication, they threw me in a seclusion room. They tied me down my wrists, my waist, and my ankles. And I'm like, they don't do that anymore.
Well, where I was working at, they still do it, but
they do?
Yeah, it's only for a certain amount of time by law, though. I guess every state is different, but they still tie people down. But it has to be for if they're a danger to themselves or others.
But you know what, brother? I wasn't a danger to myself.
Yeah.
I just didn't take my medication. I jump on the counter, and I didn't take my medication. And then she's like, "Oh my God, he's trying to." I wasn't doing anything. And then they put me in there 2 or 3 times. And it was, and then I escaped the house. It's a long story, but
I got a lot of love when I was working in that job because situations like that, they were quick to like medication. I'm like, chill. Let me talk to him. I got it. So the patients love me. I'm one of those people where I'm not the greatest with rules, but I'm just better with people, you know. So I would just like, I'll give you for instance. There was this kid. He had dreads. He was tall, and they were all scared of him. So every time he would get a little upset, they're like going to grab the needle, and I'm like, listen, I got this. Let me handle it. I'll take him, go to the room, start watching TV with him, start talking about his favorite music and stuff. And he was calm. They were just scared of him because he was bigger. So he was getting like all the time. And I didn't like it. And I spoke up to some of the nurses. I've always been like that. I hate when people get bullied, you know, because I went through that when I was young. Yeah, I got bullied a lot when I was younger, you know. So I just hate when people are outnumbered like that.
You know, it's funny that I'm listening to you talking. There was a nurse. And I remember I was out they had a little area where it's all caged up.
Yeah.
But the sun was coming down and I was crying, right?
Yeah.
Just crying like a baby. This guy I swear to God, he looked like you, man.
Yeah.
I'm not joking you, man. He looked like you. And he comes up, he goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't think I'm going to make it, man. I can't do this." And he hugged me and he goes, "Yes, you are. You're going to do it." And I said, I can. And 2 years later, I got all my children. I made it, right?
Yeah.
Went back to the hospital. I saw the guy, and he came up, and I said, "Hey, remember me?" He goes, "Yeah, you made it, man." And he goes, I said, "How did you know?" He goes, "Listen, I was in a mental hospital in Vietnam for like a year. If I could do it, I knew you could do it."
You just knew, he felt it, yeah.
It's cool.
That is cool.
Oh my God! Okay, we're done.
So I'm gonna tell you one thing. So I'm gonna admit, I'm a very straightforward person. So I'm gonna admit one thing now that I've never talked about before.
Okay.
That job, I wasn't even supposed to have that job. I lied on my application and said that I had no felonies because I worked.
Wow.
Yeah. So now, back as hospital. Thank you for those 3 years, but yeah, I wasn't supposed to have that job.
But see, that's the thing about, don't judge a book by its cover and stuff like that. You're probably you could be the greatest guy in the world, but because you couldn't have gotten that job because you got in trouble.
And I was considered like the softy because I would always let them get away with stuff.
Yeah.
And it was stupid things like, oh, they wanted more crackers. Oh, but you keep giving them extra crackers. They're only supposed to get 3. Like, you're too soft. And I'm like, you don't pay for the crackers.
Yeah.
Like, really, who's hurting? Who's it hurting to give them some extra crackers,
Right.
I never been good with those, like, robotic kind of rules.
I know.
I just can't do it.
I've had a problem with rules also now that we're talking about it. That's why I grew up. I believe in God wholeheartedly.
Me too.
There's no way I would be where I'm at. You wouldn't be where you're at without it, right? But religion rules, I just don't like to have to kneel, have to stand up, have to sit. So I don't know if I'm what I am now, Catholic, Christian, I just know that in my heart I believe in God.
It's crazy that we're connected too because I feel the same way.
Do you?
Yeah, like I feel like our connection with God is a lot stronger because it's a straight up relationship. It's not like go in front of a whole bunch of people and do this robotic kind of like ceremony or whatever you want to call it. Like I'm like you, I grew up, I was Lutheran, Catholic, Pentecostal. My mother did all those things. So I've been communion confirmed for Lutheran and Catholic. So but now it's just about my relationship with God straight up, talk to him straight.
Yeah, yeah. So you were your grandmother raised you?
Yes.
You were on the streets doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Because you had to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And how was that when you were on the streets?
Well, so when I was about 14 years old, I was just like, in the Bronx, it was like gangs, so little local gangs, we would get down with them and like I robbed somebody. We used to like, cause we were poor, we didn't have anything. So I robbed somebody and for a bus pass and a couple of dollars, stupid things I did when I was a kid. And I got probation and then I got in trouble. My mother called up and told them that I wasn't going to school and stuff like that. So I had to do juvenile time. I did 18 months at Lincoln Hall. And when you get locked up in New York, the division for youth, it sounds like jail, but I realize it's more like a boarding school. Mm-hmm. It's just a strict boarding school. So that's basically what they send you to when you're young. But I just always found trouble, and I never had a male figure that would, tell me like, nah, do it like this, you're doing it wrong or whatever. But one thing that I tell people that I'm close to is that I believe that God always had me, but I just had to go through the things that I went through to get where I'm at now and to be able to help others.
Yeah.
So it's actually a blessing. All the stuff that I went through actually has been my biggest blessing because now I could speak with an authenticity of somebody that actually has been through it.
Exactly.
But I think I went south around third grade. I was getting hit a lot, and then when I left the Pentecostal school I was in, because from kindergarten to third, I was in this church, Grace Lutheran Church. It was Pentecostal, and they had the school and everything. So I was versed in everything. So after that, money got bad, and I went to public school, and that's when I started going down. I was depressed because my father wasn't around. My stepfather everything was the belt, So I just took to the streets, and there was a lot of gangs at the time, So, and then after a while, I became a Crip for about 12 years.
How is that?
So I know you're being out here, it all originated here.
Yeah.
But my cousin was locked up, and when he came home Crip. And he got chased out the park by some Bloods. So I went and retaliated with him. And to rewind a little, I was in a case where I had a big attempt murder case, and people knew me from my neighborhood for doing that, So when I went to, have that issue. They didn't realize that he was my cousin. So it kind of got squashed out. And then I was telling my cousin, like, these people are not here for you. I'm here for you. You're holding a banner for something that's not going to represent you back. And our whole neighborhood is blood. So, like an idiot, I joined with him because he was my cousin. He was stubborn. And it was like, I'm going to roll with him because he's family. So I made a bad decision, and I did that for a lot of years, And but even then, I wasn't like a malicious person. Like, I wasn't out to hurt people and stuff like that. But it was more like defensive. If you came from my family, then I would come for you.
Yeah.
But I wound up actually having a home invasion by them, by another set that another Crip set that was affiliated with mine's. My cousin once again lent one of them a gun, and when the person didn't give the gun back. So we went to go see what was up. He didn't come outside. He was scared. He thought we were gonna jump him. And so he got other people to come to my house, and I had a gun aimed at my face. My daughter was there. I didn't even tell you about that. Like, I have custody of my daughter because she got taken away from her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've went through it all, brother. Like, really, like, till to this day, I have custody of my daughter because her mother, has a lot of mental health issues, so they kept taking her away. There was a situation where she was dating an actual blood, and he went to hit her, missed, and hit my daughter's sister. So they took all the kids out the house. I had to go to court and all that, take her. So I've had custody of her like the whole time, And she's 15 now.
She's 15?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's great. She's cool.
She's special needs.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she was born with kidney problems and stuff. So, but she didn't walk till she was 5. What? So the doctors told me that she would never walk, and I just was like, I can't believe that, So then all of a sudden, 5 years old, she starts walking. So she's just like delayed.
Yeah.
But she's not like not able to walk, not able to eat, stuff like that. She doesn't take medication or anything. So that's, God bless me with that.
So let me ask you something. When you have a gun to your, what goes through your thoughts?
So I had been shot before, and
you didn't tell me that one.
Yeah, I was in a shootout. I got shot, and the person got shot in 2000, and that was part of the attempt murder case because the other person got shot too. So that got wiped out. I didn't, thank God. The person was waiting by my house, so it was like me against him or whatever. But yeah, it was a rough time. Where was we at again?
I was asking you when you have a gun pointed at you.
Oh yeah. So being that the fact that I got shot, I want to say that I felt invincible after I got shot because I survived, and and I was good.
That's amazing.
But the home invasion was way worse than actually getting shot because it was like a brain, like I'm not safe anywhere. Even in my house, I'm not safe.
Right.
And it was like.
But why didn't he shoot you? Why? What?
I don't know.
Did he say, I'm going to shoot you? Or just had.
Other people were like, shoot him. And he didn't do it. I don't know why. I mean, they pushed into the house.
You think that was God there, bro?
I think it was God, yeah. I think that my purpose was to help a lot of people. And I think that God was like, I wasn't going to leave that life. So God was like, I'm going to force you out of that life. Oh. I think that's what happened, So I think that that's what it was. It was to like, I stopped trusting people after that, got out of that life, and then I started getting into like motorcycle clubs and stuff like that. And it was better. I never got.
So the invasion got you out of the life.
Yeah.
Because I would say, so when you're close to, I mean, I haven't dealt with that, but I've been close to dying, doing myself in, right?
Yeah.
That's going to change you if you take the right road.
Yeah.
And you obviously, that moment, you're like, damn. The other time you got shot, oh, well, you survived. Now you feel like you're King Kong.
Yeah, I did.
But here, it probably took a little while of thinking.
Yeah.
And that while of thinking is like a lot. And you're going, oh, no. Oh, And then after that, you said, I'm going to take a different road, right?
And the thing about it was so crazy because the gun's pointed at me, and I'm looking this way, and my daughter's like 3.
Oh, don't even tell me that.
She's on the floor right there
watching. Wait. Can we You need to repeat that again.
Yeah, my daughter. I'm looking up at the gun because it was a tussle when they all right. So they came to the door and they knocked on it. I was supposed to have some type of, I don't know what it was, some type of service. So like an idiot, I looked, I didn't see nothing, and then I went to open the door. So they tried to push in. It was like 8 of them. So I'm like hitting the guy, trying to get the door closed, but it was too many of them, so they pushed in. So I'm fighting. The guy has a knife. I hit him. He drops the knife. So then they start jumping me. We get further into the house. At that point, when the guy has the gun pointed at me, I look to my side, to my left. My daughter's right there on the floor, and she's like, you know, like how they crawl, because she was playing with her toys.
How old was she?
She was 3, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I looked at her and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, is this over? Like, am I gonna get offed right here in front of my 3-year-old? Like, yeah, that was the worst thing I could say that ever happened to me.
So this to me is like a movie. All right.
Yeah.
So you see your daughter. If I was gonna be, I'm playing Sose. I'm the actor. Maurice playing you. I'm not as big as you. I mean, my arms.
I would have won that altercation if I was you. They would have never did that to Sonny.
Right, exactly. But you got that, and you see your daughter. Now, the guy, how long before he doesn't do it?
He's aiming it, and then
how many
like,
minutes?
I want to say it was fast, like maybe like 45, like a minute, like a long minute.
That minute is a
long
long
minute. Yeah, so he's just, and I'm like, why is he aiming his gun at me? Like, and I want to say, I never did nothing to them. So for them to be that upset and have a gun point at me, it was just so strange. But they wanted to get my cousin. It wasn't really me that they wanted to get at. And it seemed like I just didn't understand. I'm looking at it, and then he's aiming it at me, and they're like, yeah, shoot him. And he just didn't shoot me. I don't know why. You know, it just wasn't my time.
He just walked. He just left.
Yeah, they all just left after that. Yeah, it was a crazy situation.
That is wild.
So when that situation happened, this pastor hit me up, and he told me that he had a dream about me, and he said that an angel told him that I'm supposed to be the one that doesn't Bible thump, but actually leads people to the light. He said that God wants me to like to have the authenticity to like see that brother in the mud and pull him out the mud. Like he said that's my job. So it's like I didn't understand what he meant by that. And then when I started Demons Row, I started realizing like I'm teaching people about motorcycle clubs and how to not get caught up in situations, and I like throw a little bit of God, but not too much, because I don't want to Bible thump. So I keep that authenticity to develop those relationships, and then I kind of like sprinkle it in here and there, you know? So I'm realizing now, like, I look at Demons Row, what I do, like, people look at it and be like, oh, demons, he must be like negative or evil or whatever, and it's speed demons, you know? So yeah, sometimes I have Christian people, like, they don't understand, like, I'm doing an interview and I'm interviewing a Christian motorcycle club member, and he's on Demons Row, and they don't understand it. But I felt like I have to say that because certain people don't understand that that's what it's about, you know? But yeah, that's like, so I look at Demons Row, like, remember when like they had like stuff like, we grew up in Catholic school, so, well, I was in and out, public school and Catholic school, depending on what my mom could afford. And they would show us like videos of like how heavy metal, when you turn it backwards. So I like to say Demons Row is like that, but it's the opposite. Like you see the demon, but when you turn that record backwards, I'm trying to lead you to the light.
That's, you know, what's funny is you're talking about, we're like doing the same thing, but on different ends.
Yeah, yeah.
You're doing it your way. I'm doing it with mental health.
Yeah.
But exactly what you're saying, like you know, what's funny about God, I didn't think this whole thing was going to be, it's amazing. But I was early on state of mind, I didn't want to talk too much about God, only because, you know, I'm in Hollywood and people have a thing about that or whatever.
Yeah.
And then as I started slowly talking about it, I just do it because it's my truth. I believe in God. Yeah. Wholeheartedly. Everything that I've been through, everything that you've been through, it's pretty obvious. Yeah. Why do we have to, I don't want to preach it. Yeah. Like you said. Yeah. But it's good for us to do what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that there's this weak connotation that comes with believing in God. But there's like people have to understand, like I think it's the whole promotion of the way they promote Jesus a lot. It's like turn the other cheek and stuff like that.
I get it.
But God is like the God will destroy your whole city. There's nothing soft about God. And it takes strong character to be able to put that out there. And I think a lot of people haven't made it cool to believe in God, you know? It's more like, oh, it's cool to like devil imagery and stuff like that, you know? And it takes more stand-up people that don't care and speak their voice like us, you know?
Yeah.
To make people understand, like, nah, you could be cool. It's the coolest thing, you know? That's how I look at it.
And you know, with being bipolar, and especially I've had 3 manic episodes, it's all the God and the devil fighting each other.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
And God has beaten in my mind the devil every time. Obviously, I'm still here. That's why he's beat. Because if I'm not here anymore, then the devil won. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You know, people say, why are all those, you know, kids starving in Africa? Well, that's the devil does his work also. God can't, you know, help everybody.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, did the movie Easy Rider inspire?
No. I really thought that, like, I know it was a different era, but like the 2 guys sitting together on one bike, you know, it was just like too much for me. The one who inspired me was Hulk Hogan. When I was a kid.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know why? Because when I was dealing with the abuse from my stepfather, I used to watch Hulk Hogan and be like, you know how he was with the kids? And I used to say to myself, like, if Hulk Hogan was there, like, he wouldn't allow this, you know?
Yeah.
So he was like my hero, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But Hulk Hogan was the one that had the, like, crazy Harley Davidsons and stuff. He would, like, I remember, like, he had this little commercial where he would roll up on a Harley, like a badass Harley, and then all the kids would just flood. And that was part of like one of the WWE intros. So that's what made me like Harleys, you know?
Yeah. You know, when I was my dad's not with me anymore.
Rest in peace.
Thanks. And, but you know, when I was a kid in the back seat of the car, my dad, every time the Hells Angels, there'd be like 30 on the highway.
Yeah.
It was like an aura, man. But my dad was scared and put fear in us because of how he felt. He goes, you guys, it's the Hells Angels. It's the Hells Angels, Mauricio. The Hells Angels.
Yeah.
You better be, don't look over there. But I thought, like, it was the coolest thing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that all about? Like, when the Hells Angels were, I mean, is that the top of, or is that just?
Well, there's a big 4. It's like the Hells Angels, but they're the one everybody knows. You know, we got the Mongols, the Vagos, the Pagans.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of other clubs that people don't hear about much, but the Hells Angels have had like famous people like Chuck Zito and stuff like
Sonny
that. Sonny Barger, yeah. So they've had like those famous people in the club. So
it's a cool. I mean, it must be. You could tell me. It's just when it's done correctly without illegally or not illegal, it must be a great feeling to be. What do they call them? You know, Frankie said don't say gangs or something. He said crew or something.
Yeah, like they're touchy about being called gangs because the RICO, it's easier. Like if they get labeled as a gang, it's easier to get RICOs on them, and it's easier to ban them. So they like to be called a motorcycle club for that reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's you probably have a feeling like you belong to something, and and it's brotherhood, right?
Yeah. So I got into the motorcycle clubs because of a childhood friend of mine. He was in the club that we were in, and you know, like it was just appealing. It was fun. You know, everybody has cool bikes, and it was just the image, and you know, it was good times. You know, I had to step away from it because of a lot of politics, and I wanted to like focus on my career. But now I'm like with all the clubs. You know.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, yeah. I got videos on my channel. I'm in like Las Vegas with the Mongols. I sat down with the Outlaws. I sat down with like all different kind of clubs, you know.
Do they see you kind of like a celebrity a little bit because of the podcast?
Yeah, kind of like, yeah. I would say that like I don't know if you know like Indian Larry and stuff like that. Like he would like build motorcycles. Well, I'm more
the
like
dude on TV?
yeah.
That old dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about Paul Senior?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from Orange County Chopper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like more like that. Yeah, like more in that realm. But see, I was actually in an outlaw club for, 7 years. So
Yeah.
I just teach a lot of the young people on the come up, like things that they shouldn't do. Because there's so many rules with it. And there's like, I know a lot of people here, like, this happened. There was a shootout here. It was there. And it's always over like a territory, that California bottom rocker, like.
Yeah.
It's always over something like that. So I teach the young ones, like, don't just buy it at the store and put it on your vest. So it's a lot of people that I've taught, So it's more of a teacher,
Yeah.
But yeah, like a motorcycle celebrity, you would say, something like that. Yeah.
That's it. That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I want you to do? I want you to ask me some questions, about 2 or 3 questions.
Okay. How many people have you whacked on the show?
Oh, wow. I think Sonny's probably whacked. Well, he killed his son's father. That's for sure.
All right, I got a better question.
Yeah.
How is it, because your personality is like super cool, and like how is it to play like such a menacing character and still be like a good person? Like I know you, because there's an authenticity to it. Yeah. So how do you pull that out?
When I first started Sonny, I used Al Pacino, this thing. And then I used Billy Jack. You ever see Billy Jack?
No.
Oh, man. Billy Jack is so cool. He's it's a movie that was made for like $25,000, made about $50 million.
Yeah.
And he took care of all these kids in schools, and all the bullies would come in and do stuff to the kids. Yeah. And Billy would go like this. This is kind of high. And you'll see Sonny in what I'm doing. Yeah. Billy would be like, they go the sheriff, bad sheriff, and they'd all surround him, and the bad sheriff is like, "You're in trouble now, Billy." And Billy just look at him. "So what do you think you're gonna do, Billy?" And Billy would go, "I'm gonna take my right foot and I'm going to kick you on the left side of your face. And there's not a damn thing you're going to do about it." And the guy would go, "Really?" And he'd go, "Really?" Bam! He'd kick him. Boom! It's badass.
It's so amazing how you just went into actor mode real
quick.
Like, you're so good at it. It's like,
yeah.
Did you always have that, like, kind of, like, being good at that? Or was it, like,
no, man. Well, look, in the beginning, I was pretty bad. I started out modeling, and that was so unsuccessful, and then I went to acting. And the story goes, I'll tell it again, even though I think I just told it on Another State of Mind. I went to this acting coach. Never acted in my life. I was 21. But I had something in me that I wanted to act. And he goes, "Hey, take this script. Just read it." Al Pacino did it on Broadway. So I took it. "Hey, Bob, fucking roast beef sandwich, am I right? Bring it over here. Bring it over here. No, hey." And I finished the scene. He goes, "You've never acted?" "No. It's the first script I've ever read."
Just a natural. That's crazy.
He goes, "Okay." So I go to my agent. My agent says, "Guess what he said about you, Michael Olton?" He says, "You're going to be the next Al Pacino."
Wow.
But I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So right away, like a month after that, I was in the mental institution.
Oh, because the streets was calling, right?
It was just, I couldn't, I was bipolar. I didn't know I was bipolar. Yeah. But that's how it all started.
Let me ask you a question about bipolar. Yeah. Isn't everybody bipolar, really? Like, isn't everybody up and down?
Yeah, here's the difference, bro. I'm going to tell you that's a good question. Bipolar. There's a difference. when you're bipolar and you're having a manic episode, I mean, you saw it in Kanye West. You can't, it's a good question because I was just thinking about this. The difference is we could all have a high and low. Mm-hmm. But when you're bipolar, your high is like 4 times more than the normal person.
Oh, okay.
And you cannot, when that thing starts going, you can't rein it in.
Oh, okay.
You can't. So then what's happened to me, three breakdowns, it rolled, and then you're like, oh, I can't. You know, in real life, you can be high, and then you can bring it down.
But don't you think that's part of like how great you are and have to be? So that's a pressure that everybody doesn't have. So, you know, like, wouldn't that be natural to have that kind of high and low? Because your high and low it's a big deal. Like if it's low, you know, you might not be able to keep as consistent as you are and be a legend like you are. You know, you'll fall off or whatever, you know. So maybe that pressure is a lot. I mean, I could imagine how much pressure that is.
Yeah, but, you know, it's funny because we're having this conversation because I've now felt, I got to tell you, Sose, for 58 years, I have never truly felt joy.
Wow.
Inside. Moments of joy. And I always believed that getting things made me happy. But that's false happiness.
Yeah, I agree.
So during the pandemic, when I had thoughts of doing myself in, and I got through all that, for the last 2.5 years, I've had peace and joy inside.
That's awesome.
Brother, I don't get high. This is the way I think normal people kind of are. You get high, but you don't get, ooh. So, for instance, I just got nominated for another Emmy. First time ever, it didn't affect me. I'm happy, but it didn't. Usually, I'm nominated.
So is it because of the highs, like you hit those goals, so it's like, what now? Is that what your fear is?
It's just because the happiness we have to find is within ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you want to say that's God, which I think it is too, or if this person watching wants to say it's the Buddha or the thing, I don't care what you say. When you feel, you seem to be in that place.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because it took me way long to get here, bro.
Wow.
Now, I understand it was a process.
Yeah.
And I've done great things and this and that. It's fine. But I would, fuck. That's a good one.
For me, I feel like I never had nothing growing up. I didn't get name brand sneakers till I was in 7th grade, I think. So I can't help but enjoy certain things, you know, because it's like, and I understand what you're saying. Like once you start hitting a certain level, you things don't impress you as much. So it's harder, you know, and you've done it on the highest of levels. Yeah. So it's easy to be like, oh, well, how do you compare to that? You know, it's rough, you know.
But I tell you, before the pandemic, I'd done quite a bit with the book and the thing, and it all got me too much. Yeah. But now, I think if I won an Oscar, I'd be like, right on, good.
Yeah.
It wouldn't affect me. But you have to understand, I'm on medication too for the bipolar.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a manic episode in 30 years. It's amazing.
That's good.
But it's the anxiety that.
Yeah.
But I think I'm good.
I think like what helps me with anxiety is the gym. Like I
know.
Yeah, I feel like that is like a savior right there. It's just like a time to like just focus on yourself, you know?
Yeah. It all helps. Look, the way I tell people to prevent us from having any of this mental illness, anxiety, depression, manic, whatever, bipolar, is prevent it from happening. Work out, meditation, yoga, eat well, so it doesn't come.
Yeah.
Then we're good. Yeah. Because once it comes and it hits a hard level.
So I feel like, so you have, like I said, you've hit the top level, and I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, every level a new devil. Have you ever heard that before? So this saying I heard years ago, and it changed my life. And it's like, life is like a video game, right? When you get something bad happens, you get a flat tire or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I had to be here at this time. But I'm realizing, like, you could have died at the corner. You got a flat tire. It sucks, but you would have hit that corner. Somebody was going to eat the light and kill you. So I'm noticing that life is like a video game. Every time you get to a new level, there's that boss at the end of the video game that you got to beat him. Sometimes he beats you a couple times. Some people never pass that first level and they stay in that. So I'm starting to realize, like, when something bad happens, I'm like, why did this happen? Oh, wait, God wanted me to go this way, but I'm going this way. So that's why this happened. So once you start thinking like that, when you get into issues, you start realizing, like, oh, hold up. Instead of stressing out, let me think about why this happened. You know? And it could be like, you know, people get fired from their job or whatever. They got fired because they're ready to be the next person next to you and, you know, acting next to you. But they would have stayed in Subways working forever if they didn't get fired, you know? Like, so I'm starting to look at life like that. It makes life fun, you know? It's hard, though. It's a struggle.
I know it's a struggle. It's always a struggle, but life is not fair. But but I always go to what's happening in here is the most important. And somebody told me a long time ago, God's within you. And I'm like, what do you mean within me? God is up in the thing. He goes, no. And I thought,
I agree.
But now I get it.
All
right, brother. This is State of Mind. I just want to say before I get off that Sose the Ghost, what a conversation. And I'm not joking. I actually feel like, can I call you my older brother? Like,
I mean, I'd be honored. I'm gonna run with that. You know who my little brother is?
All right. It was just like we're a lot alike, and I really appreciate you coming here, and it was fantastic, man.
I appreciate it. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State of Mind. Late. All right, dude.
I enjoyed that.
That was cool. Yeah.